Welcome to Tiger Basketball Report, episode number 9. I am Devin LaTulippe, your host, and I'm joined by Landon Speck, my amazing co-host. Landon, how you doing?
Man, I'm great. Pumped to be here.
Pumped to be here. We got, sorry folks, another skeleton crew. As Sam had some important matters to attend to, and we had some scheduling conflicts with Noah, so it was just me and Landon today. But we're still here. We're going to give you a great episode. We're
still kicking. We're still going to get it done.
We're going to get it done for you. We got some, we are 4-0 since the last episode. We played Tulane, Rice, Tulsa, Temple. As you all know, we all came away with 4 W's. So we're going to recap those games. Landon's going to give you a breakdown on some bracketology, and we're going to look ahead to the future of the team. But let's get right into it. Landon, thoughts on Tulane game?
Tulane game. So Tulane, as many Memphis fans know, I mean, those games are just, it's hell. I mean, to say it lightly. Memphis, I believe before this win, hasn't won at Tulane since 2020. It seems like this team's always given them problems. And it seems like one of those games for Tulane coach Ron Hunter, for whatever reason, he just takes those games extra seriously. It's almost as if, as long as he gets that Memphis win, he doesn't really care how the rest of the season goes. And Memphis went in there and got the job done, but not without it being spicy. They were up by 3 at halftime, and then they outscored Tulane by 9 in the second half to take home a 12-point road win, which that's never something you're going to want to complain about. Dane just stood out in this game. He had 19 points on an efficient 8 of 11 from the field. And this was also the breakout game for one of the guys that we need to mention a lot from this point forward, and that's P.J. Carter, who had 14 points, 5 of 11 from the field, 4 of 9 from the three-point line beyond the arc. He's just been an absolute sniper as of late, and he's been a real X factor that's emerged late in the season, if you will, for this Memphis team. And it just adds another shooter to the trio of Rogers, Haggerty, and Tyrese Hunter. And it's a guy who can make this team even more dangerous. He's had a bunch of big games here. Started with that Tulane game. And then Colby Rogers in this game also had 14 points. I went 4 of 8 from the three-point line. And Memphis as the team shot 39.1%, which just continues their really good three-point shooting as a team so far this season, which I think has been a pleasant surprise to us and a lot of fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And an interesting note about the Tulane game. Memphis shot 39%, which is just below their average, I believe. I believe they're shooting 40 or just above 40 or something around there. P.J. Carter made 4 threes. Colby Rogers made 4 threes. And then Tyrese Hunter is the only other player on the team to make a 3 that game. Everyone else did not.
I mean, that's almost how it's kind of been.
Yeah.
It's those 3, and then P.J. will make one.
Right.
In most games, which I think for him, I mean, we can talk about that later, but that's been another pleasant surprise is him knocking down threes. But it's not like it's the whole team, which is interesting because it's just 3 or 4 guys, but they've been getting it done.
Yeah, it's been it's been working. So you can't really. I mean, Memphis is shooting one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. So
I've never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah,
honestly.
Right. We talked about.
Yeah, growing up around this program, never.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd see that.
Interesting note about P.J. Carter too is he's been a great closer for the Tigers. Whenever they've needed both him and Colby Rogers. Honestly, I think have both been there's 5 seconds left on the shot clock and we got to get a shot up here. Give it to one of them.
Yeah.
And they just find a way to. It's a pump fake sidestep or something, anything, and they just sink it.
Colby in that high release, he's going to get that shot off.
Oh yeah,
no matter what.
So really, I mean, we probably lose a couple games without those guys on the team. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree.
They've been very important.
Very important.
In the closing minutes.
Yeah, Memphis in this game too, only 11 turnovers. I believe it was 7 in the first half, 4 in the second half. So four second half turnovers in a tight road game. That's what you want from this veteran team, and that's something they've been struggling with. And they were able to keep that under control in this game. Another thing, Tulane only shot 16.7% from beyond the 3-point line in this game, so that helped some. Defense was tight on the perimeter. Only held Tulane to 56 points. So anytime you hold a team to 56, I mean, you would think you would come out with the win. And that was a good one for Memphis to go get because that was just a place that, for whatever reason, has given them so many problems over the years. And then they get that one. All right, we'll move on to the Rice game now, which was on the Sunday following that Thursday game against Tulane. And Memphis won by 3, and they should not have won by 3, to say the very least about this game. Memphis should have won this game by way more than 3 points, but in classic Memphis fashion, they let Rice back into it at the end and made it way more interesting than it needed to be, thanks to some missed free throws. P.J. Haggerty surprisingly missed one, and then I believe it was Jourdain that missed 2, or maybe it was the front of a 1-and-1 at the end.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, front end of a 1-and-1, and yeah, just and then Rice knocked down some tough shots at the end to make it closer than it really needed to be. And a frustrating one, on a road game. And it's one of those road games you walk in, man, and just Rice just plays at a high school gym. Yeah. So if you're Memphis, and we've talked about it the whole podcast, if you play this non-conference schedule and all these big games and all these big environments, and then you got to play in the American and you're playing in gyms like Rice, it just doesn't give off big game vibes, if you want to call it that. But Memphis got the job done. It was really frustrating that it was this close because they shot the lights out. They shot 52.4% from three, 55% overall from the field. It's just that 60% clip from the free throw line wasn't great. Granted, 2 of those are Musa Cisse, so you can always take that with a grain of salt. But Jordan 1 for 3. Haggerty missed 1. Hunter missed 1. Obviously we're not going to be mad at a road win, but this definitely should have been one where they won by margin, which we'll talk about it more when we get to the bracketology and the metrics. That's what you need for Memphis, is to win by margin, and they were unable to do so, unfortunately, in this game. PJ Haggerty was unbelievable, despite the missed free throw at the end. He had 26 points, efficient 11 of 18, made a 3. And Tyrese Hunter also had 19, so this is just kind of the classic, going back to Maui, Haggerty and Hunter being the guys, getting all the buckets. But PJ Carter, we talked about him last game. He had 19 in this game. He shot 5 of 7 from beyond the three-point line. Just an absolute masterclass of a basketball game by PJ Carter in 25 minutes. And he's starting to string together these performances. He's confident. He's shooting with confidence. And he's knocking down big shots. And it seems like Devin said, when Memphis needs the most.
Yeah, right, absolutely. PJ Carter. Can't emphasize. Truly. If anyone that's watched the game can see it. Even if you're not paying attention, start paying attention to PJ Carter. You'll see how usually around the 2-minute mark, I'd say, 2 or 3 minute mark, and PJ Carter hits a big 3, and it kind of changes the momentum of the game. Note about Rice, Memphis was up by 10 with 2 minutes to go, and then of course ended up only winning by 3, like Landon said, thanks to some missed free throws. But Penny Hardaway said something interesting after the Temple game, and he was like, obviously we're glad we're winning these games, but what's frustrating to me is that we need to snowpile these 10-point leads into 15 and 20 in the remaining minutes, and that's something Memphis struggles to do. It's not the worst problem to have, especially when you're winning. But it's
not like they're blowing these leads,
right? It's not like they're like almost. I've never felt seriously threatened at the end of these past couple games. Are you the same mind, Landon?
The Rice game, I was frightened.
You were frightened?
I was frightened about the Rice game. The other ones, not so much, like Temple and some of these other games that have been closer. But the Rice game, it was a little scary because they weren't hitting free throws.
Yeah, that's true. And we were up 1 with 12 seconds to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think Rice had the ball too, when it was a 1-possession game at some point late.
I think you're right. And Memphis fouled. That's the foul.
Yeah, it was the foul at 3. Memphis fouled up 3.
Yes, foul
like
up
they
3.
failed to do against UConn back in Maui.
Goodness gracious! I think we've learned. I think it's safe to say we learned our lesson from that game.
Luckily.
Goodness gracious! It only took whatever, but Memphis fouled up 3.
Yeah,
everything was good.
Another guy in this game I wanted to shout out was Dante Harris. He only scored 6 points, but it was 2 threes. Which anytime you're getting threes from Dante Harris, I think that's a plus. And it was only in 9 minutes. Now he did have 4 turnovers, which that's not great, especially from a real true small point guard. But 2 of 3 from Dante Harris in 9 minutes. I think that's going to contribute to some winning. And then, Colby Rogers quiet in this game. Danger was quieter than normal in this game. He only had 6 points, but he did have 5 rebounds. PJ Haggerty led the team in rebounds this game with 8. And I think it's important to note, since that Temple debacle from January, that the rebounding has to be a total team effort. So it's good to see a guard like Haggerty with 8 rebounds leading the team. And you can't put all the weight on the boards on Danger and Musa and Nick Jourdain. So it's good to see the guards contribute to the glass. So, you have anything else in the Rice game?
I don't think I do.
Okay.
Glad you mentioned PJ Haggerty 7 rebounds. I was about to bring that up. Tyrese Hunter, I think he had what?
I said he had 8 rebounds.
Oh yeah, right. Excuse me. Yeah. And I think you mentioned Tyrese Hunter's points. Slow game of Colby Rogers, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, I think that's all I got on Rice.
It's another game that you just really may not feel like playing, and they go in there and they get it done.
Yeah.
Closer than we wanted it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and this is what I want to say about the Rice game. Penny Hardaway dropped one of my favorite coachisms at halftime when he said we need to play fast, not in a hurry.
Okay.
I love that one. That's a good one. So he did drop that at halftime on good old ESPN Plus.
Reminds me of like a Mike Tomlin quote.
Right. Yeah. Mike Tomlin, Jim Harbaugh is one of my. That's a
coachism.
Coachism.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah. But anyways, on to Tulane, PJ Haggerty Tulsa.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Tulane, Tulsa. They came into the conference togetger, and they both start with TUL. It's so easy to get mixed up. Man.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times when I was writing the post game article, I was like, man, I gotta make sure I don't say Tulsa in this game, or Temple, vice versa, whatever. Anyways, Tulsa game. PJ Haggerty's first time playing his former team. He finished with just 23 points. I was looking at Tyree Center. 23 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. So pretty solid game for PJ Haggerty his first time back.
Yeah, against the old team.
Landon, any thoughts on this game?
Man, so PJ Haggerty shot 3 for 5 from 3 this game. And at first when he was making threes, it could have been this, I guess, outlier stat for him. Is he really this good of a shooter? He's been shooting threes consistently now for most of the season. And that, I can't emphasize enough how big of a deal that is for him. Because I remember when we first started this show and we were talking about him and how good he was going to be. His one flaw was he shot, like 28% from 3 at Tulsa last season. And it was 28.9. This season, he's shooting 43.2% from 3, which is elite. Absolutely elite. Now, he's only taking 3 per game, which, I mean, that's better than if it were only 1 or 2. But that makes me think, like, maybe he should shoot more. Maybe he should shoot more threes if he's going to shoot 43% from beyond the arc. And this was a game where he did take 5 and he made 3. And I think that's just really encouraging for him. It's encouraging for Memphis. It's encouraging for his chance to play in the NBA in the future.
I think 5 or 6 the magic number.
Yeah, the magic number, 3 for 5, 3 for 6, or maybe even 3 for 7, that'd be cool.
Right.
Maybe that's a fine percentage from 3-point land. So that's just been, I don't want to say insanely surprising, because PJ Haggerty has always been a really good free throw shooter, and a lot of times that's a good indicator for somebody that can develop into a good 3-point shooter. And the fact that he's a 6'3" guard, I mean, you would think he was going to add a better 3-point shot eventually, and it was going to come along. But I don't think we saw a 28 to 43% jump, and that'll probably will come back down to earth just a little bit towards the end of the year. He could maybe end up as a 38-39% guy. Who knows? Maybe he could stay above 40, but I just think that's something that's really good to see that I wanted to highlight from this game. So he had 23 points on 10 of 16 overall, and then Dane Danger, who he's been so solid since he's been put in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Super solid. So he had 21 in this game on 10 of 14 with 6 boards in 31 minutes. And I think they're starting to recognize that. I mean, Musa's minutes have been down a little bit. And like we said, Musa plays his role. He does what Musa Cisse needs to do. But that's not a guy that needs to play heavy minutes. He's gonna go in there and do what he does and play hard for the 12 minutes that he plays. But I think it's pretty evident Dane Danger is this team's best chance at the 5.
Oh, absolutely. And no one in this conference, I think even Dane Danger just kind of alluded to this, no one in this conference can guard Dane Danger.
No.
And there's really no competition for, I mean, he played in the Big Ten and was like pretty solid.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
I think it was really the tournament where he broke out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't some dominant player in the regular season, but he had a really good NCAA tournament.
Yeah, so there's no one in this conference that can guard this guy. And, I mean, he might have an off game here or there where they, double. I mean, they're going to double every game, but I think he's had a couple off games since starting. Maybe had like, I don't know, not 21 points off 10 to 14 shooting, but the long and short of it is that no one can hang with him. So he needs to be probably the second guy behind Haggerty in the offense.
He's such a unique, interesting player because he's not a 7-footer. He's probably about 6'9" or so, and he's playing the 5 and he can't shoot. So I mean, when you first hear that. He can't shoot threes, but
he can't shoot past the paint.
No, so that type of player in today's basketball, it just doesn't sound aesthetically pleasing. But Dane Danger is. He has really, really good footwork in the post. I think we've mentioned that before on this show. In the mid post, high post, low post, all of it. He can get to work down there, and he's super skilled. He's a good passer for that position. Not going to sit here and say he can handle the ball, but he doesn't look unnatural doing it. At least he doesn't look clumsy when he does have to bring the ball up every now and then. And he's really efficient. He gets to his spots. He takes good shots. He's been more than I think what Memphis bargained for this offseason, which is, that's just been great for the team. Obviously, he went with another really good transfer portal class that Penny Hardaway brought in with a trio of the guards and PJ Carter, and just another great game. He's fit seamlessly with that starting lineup.
Yeah, and I just want to stop and just give props to Penny Hardaway for inserting him in the starting lineup, because Moussa Cisse at the beginning of the year I think made sense in the starting lineup.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, we need this guy's defensive, we need a big top body for rebounding. But then he just made an appropriate change as the season went on, and it's been working out. So credit to him. We've won 7 straight.
Yeah, we haven't lost since they haven't lost since Temple.
Yeah,
the first Temple game in January 16th.
Yeah, goodness gracious, January 16th. But yeah, so credit to Penny Hardaway. I think we've said that before, but I just want to say that once again, Danger's been playing unbelievable basketball. This Tulsa game, it was really a beauty to watch. If you didn't catch it, I'd go look up Danger.
Only 8 turnovers.
Yeah.
And Memphis did lose the battle on the glass by 2, 29-27, but they forced 16 Tulsa turnovers, and they only turned the ball over themselves 8. Yeah. They scored 25 points off the turnovers. The only thing was free throws, 50% for the free throw line, which I really don't think is normal for this team.
Yeah.
Tyrese Hunter missed 1. Nick Jordan missed his only attempt.
Danger was 1 for 3.
Yeah. So.
Moussa Cisse 2 for 2 though.
Yeah, Moose is 2 for 2. Right.
Best free throw shooter on the team.
Yeah, when I saw 50%, I was ready to look over at that box score and see Moussa Cisse 0 for 3 or something. But nah, he 2 for 2 for Moussa. So
he might be the best.
He just might be the greatest. Yeah. Beating the Shaq allegations from free throw line.
But and 20 assists. Did we mention that yet? 20 assists.
No. Yeah, 20 assists.
20 to 8.
Yeah.
Wow, what a turnaround!
20 to 8.
20. What a turnaround!
Yeah.
If you would have told me,
that's worth celebrating. Man.
It truly is.
It's worth celebrating.
Brought some. I don't even know, but.
Yeah, everybody who played in this game also scored, including Jared Harris.
Really?
Yeah, Jared Harris had 2 points.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Rocket. Yeah. If you told me after that Wichita State game, that was the one. I think that one broke Penny.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, I think that one.
He was like,
Penny was done with it.
He carried the post game. He was like, yeah, man. He was like, I got it. And I was like, all right, dude. This is what it took was 20 turnovers, but
20 turnovers. Oh,
whatever, man.
Yeah.
42.
Now look at them. They're getting 20 assists.
Now they're getting 20 and 8.
Yeah, look at Memphis, man. Come a long way.
It is such. I just can't tell you how much more. It's just such better basketball to watch.
Yeah.
Like I just have like.
I'm with you.
It's just so beautiful to watch, man. A team that doesn't turn the ball over. It's just like.
Hits threes, 43% from 3 this year.
Yeah, whenever Memphis is not, whenever they don't turn the ball over, they're
a good team.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is a good basketball team.
Yeah. I mean that's not a great flaw to have is turn the ball over. That's kind of
that's important.
Yeah,
I think taking care of the ball is pretty important.
Yeah, so it's kind of bad that's a stipulation on whether you're a good team or not. I mean, a lot of teams would be good if they didn't turn the ball over, but truly Memphis is a elite team.
Yeah,
they don't turn the ball
has
over.
potential to be for sure.
Yeah.
Anything else on that one?
I don't think so. This was pretty open and shut.
I think the story coming in may have been like the Haggerty revenge thing, but there wasn't really any bad blood.
No, there was no animosity.
There was not animosity at all.
No, it was
not. Yeah, it was. Everything just seemed cool.
Yeah, even after the game, he was like, it was just kind of cool to play my own team again.
Yeah.
And that was kind of long.
Yeah, which that's how PJ is.
Yeah,
PJ is the most even keel player that you'll ever see on the court. He never too high, never too low. If he makes the biggest shot of the game, he looks the same as if he's shooting over 12.
Yeah.
Which I think that's great. I just think that's very valuable, a very valuable thing for a player to have. And in a game like this where some emotions could come out, he didn't flinch and he stayed the way that he's been all season. And so yeah, I think Haggerty all season with that has just been super impressive.
Oh.
So that's it for Tulsa.
Yeah, that's it for Tulsa. Let's move on to the most recent game.
Yeah, just Temple.
Which is Temple.
Temple again, the get-back game against Temple.
The get-back game. That was, so for anyone that doesn't know, that was what PJ Haggerty and Dane Danger both said whenever they were asked about their thoughts on this upcoming Temple game. If there was anything more behind it, they just simply said, get back.
Yeah. And they got their get-back.
They did?
PJ Haggerty and Dane Danger, they combined for 38 points on 13 of 22 shooting total. Haggerty was 2 of 4 from the three-point line. Dane Danger shot 10 free throws and went 8 for 10 from the line, which that's pretty good for Dane Danger, 80%, and getting the line 10 times. And Danger also added 8 boards, so just another very strong outing for Dane Danger in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean, we just praised Danger. He's unbelievable. Just such a difference maker. Dante Harris. 14 points. Yeah,
this was Dante Harris's best game of his Memphis
got
career.
Got the start in place when injured Tyrese Hunter.
I think that was maybe the big story from this game is Penny found out 20 minutes before the game that Tyrese Hunter wasn't going to play due to a nagging knee thing that he's had all season. I remember going back to Maui, it was Haggerty and Hunter they weren't even practicing at all during the non-conference slate because of knee injuries that they were dealing with. And so they were basically just showing up and balling at the games without having any practice, which was super impressive. And I know Hunter was held out of practice yesterday, and he'll be, I believe, a game time decision for the game tomorrow. But yeah, Tyrese Hunter, game time decision for tomorrow. He did miss Sunday's game. He warmed up, tried to give it a go, and he couldn't. So 20 minutes before the game, Dante Harris is told that he's going to be put into the starting lineup, and he performed. He played 29 minutes. He had 14 points, shot 6 of 8 from the field, had 3 rebounds and an assist. No turnovers, which I think is very important because the last game we talked about Dante Harris where he knocked down a couple threes. He did have 4 turnovers. He didn't turn over the ball at all in this game. Memphis did have some turnover issues as a team in the first half of this game. They had 11, I believe.
Yes.
And a lot of that could be pointed to not having your point guard, Tyrese Hunter, is the start. Like, he is your point guard in the starting lineup. But the guy who filled in for him had 0. So I thought really, really good performance for Dante Harris. Just had to be super encouraging. I think he's been. I think there could be some worry with adding a guy like him in the middle of the season. They added Naquan Tomlin last season. Just adding a guy, especially for this team, who they were winning. They had a lot of success going for them, and you don't want to mess that up by bringing in a guy mid-year. But I think Dante Harris has been really good for the team. I think he mentioned in the post game he's just willing to come in and play his role and do whatever the coaches ask him to do. He's not trying to come in and average 20 points a game or anything like that. So I think he's been a very welcomed addition for this team.
Absolutely, and I think Dante Harris is one of those guys where it's there's no disadvantage having him around. Is seemingly what it appears. More notes from the Temple game here. I thought Nick Jourdain played a great game.
Yeah, this was his best game in a long time, and he really needed it.
Yeah, he did.
He's had some rough moments.
Yeah, and
recently.
Not to just be not to be a Twitter guy, but Nick Jourdain does face some serious.
Yeah.
He gets some nasty comments.
Yeah, if you're on the Memphis Eds community, they're not.
Yeah,
Jourdain
I thought
fans
we ease up on Jourdain. Let's relax on Jourdain a little. He played a great game. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. So nothing jumps out at you, but I think I'm of the mind if you watch the game, Jourdain made some great plays. He had a rough first half, I do believe.
Yeah, this looks like 2023 Jourdain, though.
Yeah, it was just a nice reminder of like why he's here, what he's supposed to do, and how good he is at doing. He played great defense in that game. Rebounded. Assists. Yeah. I thought his 3 assists were great assists though. If you watched.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you every move of them, but I do. I think he had a nice kick out to the 3-point corner. I couldn't tell you who shot it. Just keep your eye on Jourdain. Let's ease up on Jourdain, huh?
Yeah, hopefully this gives him some confidence going forward to play like he did last season. He was one of the very few positives of last season, and it was exciting when he announced he was going to return to Memphis. Yeah. And he started every game, I believe, this year, or I'm pretty sure he has. And if you can get more games like this from him, then that's just going to make this team even more dangerous. Memphis has a team, once again, 42% from three-point territory, so I think we can officially, we've been able to say this for a while, they can shoot the cover off the ball. Yep. And that's super dangerous. They got guards that can shoot it, guards that can score. It's going to be really good for them come March. Temple in this game, too, also, they shot 50% from 3. They were hitting some threes, too.
Yeah, they were streaky.
Yeah.
But they were streaky. It'd be like kind of like nothing. Then like there's like a 4-minute period where they're just shooting the lights out.
Anytime you play a team that shoots 50% and makes 11 threes, and you come out with the win, an 8-point win, that you're gonna take that. This game was tied at halftime, 35-35, and then midway through the second half, it seemed like Memphis was really putting the dagger in them. PJ Carter hit a couple threes to extend the lead greatly. Colby Rogers had one. I
think they had them like back to back. No, Haggerty had a layup in between, but it was like 2 threes.
Yeah, PJ did make a 3 though. I know PJ Carter had a couple. Colby Rogers hit one, and then some point in the back end of the second half, Haggerty hit his. It's really become his signature shot, like the step back moon ball 3, where his shot's so weird. He doesn't really follow through.
Right.
Well,
sometimes he does.
Sometimes he does. Sometimes he doesn't. But it seems like on those moon balls, he doesn't really get all the way into it, and that thing's just sitting up in the air forever, and then it goes down more times than not. It seems like.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's unconventional, but he gets it done. He's another just closer. There's not many guys that want college basketball taking shots like that, other than PJ Haggerty.
It kind of gives me like 2015 Steph Curry vibes. Yeah. It's like we weren't really familiar with like oh, Steph Curry can just do this. It was like when he shot like a crazy shot like that, we're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Then he kept making them. So that's kind of the same vibe I get. Not saying PJ Haggerty is going to turn into Steph Curry.
Yeah,
That's
not
just,
at all. Yeah,
that's just
definitely not.
The feeling I get watching take those moon ball threes at the end of the game.
Yeah, it's fun, man. He had another great one. He had 20 on 8 of 15, 2-4 from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
7 assists too for him in this game.
Yeah. And this was the perfect Colby Rogers. This is like the prototypical Colby Rogers shot I was talking about. This three that he hit with just over 2 minutes to go.
Yeah,
that was
I remember
so Timber played perfect. I mean, literally perfect defense the whole. I think it was like 25 seconds of the shot clock. Memphis had they had nothing. They had no opportunity for success. Ball gets tipped out of bounds. Memphis inbounds. Colby Rogers pump fake sidestep three, puts him up 11 with 2 minutes to go. I mean,
that's his shot.
That's his shot, man. Like there's nothing you can do about that. So that's what I mean when I say Colby Rogers or PJ Carter. PJ Carter hit one earlier in the game. That one wasn't a dagger per se, but I do think it stopped the momentum that Timber was kind of building. So 2 important shots.
Yeah. Memphis as a team shot 56% from the field in this game. So another efficient game. Turnovers were a problem in the first half, but in the second half, after the game was tied, they only turned it over twice. And then the big story from the last game was Temple pretty much doubled up Memphis on the boards. Memphis 26 rebounds, Temple 24 in this game. So Memphis comes back and wins that battle on the glass. They forced 16 turnovers. They scored 18 points off turnovers. Only 72% from the free throw line. They shot 25 of them. So that's how the free throw percentage dipping a little bit here recently. Dante Harris missed 2, and then PJ missed 1, but he only shot 3. So usually Haggerty gets more free throws up than that. But Danger, I think overall, when Danger went 8 for 10, Musa went 4 for 6. So I think when Danger and Musa go 12 of 16 from the free throw line, that makes up for a lot of misses that like Dante Harris and PJ Haggerty had. They outperformed their season percentages greatly at the line in this game.
Yeah. I think that, like we said, this game, the score is not really exactly a telling for how the end of the game was.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another one. Memphis just kind of let up at the end, and Temple hit some shots, and it was closer than it needed to be.
Yeah, so just kind of but again, I mean, I can't speak for Landon. I never felt in danger of Memphis losing.
I never felt scared about this one either.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, this was different than Rice. This wasn't like the Rice one was.
Yeah, so just kind of, stuff they need to clean up. Nothing I'd lose sleep over if I was Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, Penny did say in the post game he acknowledged they have to close games better.
Right.
He said straight up they just have to be better at the end games.
Yeah, so something to look forward to. Always stuff you can improve on. Yeah, just really glad to see the turnovers go down the second half. That just showed the first half was a fluke for the turnover wise. Seems like Memphis is really kind of cleaned that up for real. And rebounding, like Landon mentioned, was much better.
Yeah.
First last game. So that was stuff that was encouraging to see.
Yeah.
This team.
So overall, Memphis 4-0. Memphis, they're 10-1 in conference. They're 20-4 in the regular season. They get to 20 wins. They moved up to 14th in the AP poll, which is the highest they've been ranked all season. Now, personally, I don't really care for the AP poll, but
it's cool.
It's cool. It's what you see on TV.
Yeah.
So it helps the narratives. So Memphis is 14th in the AP poll, which I think is finally they're at their proper spot in that poll.
Yeah, 14 seems right.
14 is very fair. And we talk about it all year now. I'm about to get into these metrics rankings. Memphis 43rd in the KenPom rankings. They're 58th in offensive rating, 45th in defensive rating. And stuff like this where you need to win by margin and it really takes into account your opponent more than AP poll voters will. Memphis just doesn't have that many opportunities to really move up in these rankings. Like the conference tournament's going to be really important because they could get another crack at North Texas. They could get another crack at UAB, and so they don't have to win every game, but they don't really have much room for error if keep in mind if they do want to get a 4 or 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. I think at this point they're near locks to make the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But if they do want the highest seed in the history of Penny Hardaway's tenure, then they can't really slip up too much going forward just because of the poor strength of schedule that they face. So sitting at 43 in KenPom, and then in the net they're sitting at 45, so very similar placements in both of those. Memphis 5-2 in quad 1 games, so that's top 50 net teams in a home game, and then top 75 net teams in a road game. That would fall into the quadrant 1 category. Memphis is 5-2 in such games, which is one of the, I believe, the 4 or 5 best quad 1 records in all of college basketball. And then if you want to bring quad 2 into it, which just expands a little bit, they're 5-1 in those. So 10-3 in quad 1 plus 2 games for Memphis. So the tougher games they have had on the schedule, they've been able to win most of them, and that's been great for them to get to 20-4. And then in Torvik likes them a little more than those two. They're 32 in Torvik, 28th in adjusted offensive efficiency, and then Memphis is 47th in adjusted defensive efficiency. So, like we said, it seems like they're just kind of stuck where they're at in most of these metrics just because of their schedule. So we'll see. They could move up a little bit, especially during that conference tournament. And then for the bracketology, Lunardi at ESPN still has Memphis as a 5 seed. Now, I shouted out at JBR Bracketology on X in the last episode. Like I said, he does great work. Really keeps up with the whole landscape of college basketball, not just the SEC and the Big East and all these big conferences that are really on mainstream media. He does a great job at doing the weekly seed lists, and he's usually very accurate with his tournament projections. If I remember in the past, so he has Memphis as a 6 seed. It's the first 6 seed at 21 overall. So they fall out of that 5 line that they were on last time we talked on here. And, they haven't lost since then, but this is what we're talking about. Memphis, if they don't win by margin, then even if they win, they're just going to be very vulnerable to teams passing them. UCLA, Ole Miss, Michigan, and Marquette are the 4 on the 5 line now. So, it's not impossible. They're not stuck at a 6 seed. I think a 5 seed is very doable for Memphis. I think like a 4 would be the absolute ceiling, but I think they may need a little bit of help to get there. Granted, I'm not an expert, but that's just what it might seem like. And then another Eds account that I also love to follow for bracketology is at T3 Bracketology, who is just a college basketball fan, and he watches 40 hours of college basketball a week. So this guy's just super dedicated, and just like JBR, he has Memphis on that 6 line. He does have UCLA there with them, which is different than than what JBR had them, but that's 2 of the accounts whose opinions I respect, having Memphis on the 6 line, which, yeah, it's fair. I think they, if I had to guess the way I think they'll play the rest of the season, I think they'll end up as a 5, which that'd be the highest seed in the history of the program, and overall they'd just be very successful.
There you have it. That was Landon Speck's bracketology breakdown. We appreciate that every week because I don't know enough to speak for 5 minutes on it.
You bracket illiterate?
I'm not bracket illiterate. I get it, but I couldn't give you that breakdown. So
yeah.
I'm glad you can.
Hell yeah, man. That's what I'm here for.
That's what we brought him in for. All right, well, that kind of sums up that. Landon, what are your thoughts on the remaining conference schedule? You got anything we need to keep our eyes peeled for? Anything that's kind of making your stomach rumble? Anything?
Making my stomach rumble, huh?
Yeah.
That's where we're going with this?
Yeah, anything that's doesn't seem right to you.
Well, the road games always scare me. They got one at South Florida tomorrow night, and then Sunday they play. Big day for Devin on Sunday, February 16th, ladies and gentlemen. Memphis at the Wichita State Shockers at 11 a.m. in Wichita, Kansas.
On ESPN. ESPN.
On the big dog ESPN. Devin will be dialed for this game.
Oh yeah.
Per se. So yeah, big day for Devin LaTulippe on Sunday. But this week is 2 road games, so that's tough. You got to be ready to go. It's gonna be their Super Bowls, as we always talk about. And then they got FAU at home, Rice at home, and then they close out at UAB, at UTSA, and then South Florida at home. The UAB game could be interesting because Yatzil Lindeborg's really good, so just anytime they have a player of that caliber. Yeah. And UAB is pretty talented compared to the other teams. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if Memphis picks up another loss the rest of the way.
Yeah, I'm with you.
If I was a betting man and I had to bet money on it, I'd probably say that they lose 1 more. Now, they could lose 2. And honestly, I think before, when we went back and did predictions for conference, I think I had them at 15-3. So
yes.
It wouldn't even be that surprising to me if they go lose 2 more. Now, obviously, with the way they've been playing, you don't want that to happen. I think personally, I think we will drop 1 more, and finish 16-2, which I don't think anybody should complain about that.
Yeah.
It's just really hard to go 17-1 in conference play. But yeah, I mean, they only played North Texas once, which helps for sure. But it's the UAB game is really the one that I'd really look out for.
Yeah, I'm with you. UAB's especially because we kind of built some tension, some animosity between us and UAB just over the course of that game. So it's kind of like a revenge game for them, and it's at UAB. So and that's a rivalry already. Rivalry.
Yeah, we're not on video, but but I'm doing air quotes.
Yeah.
Right. It's a rivalry.
Rivalry. Yeah. It's just something to keep your eyes peeled for. Of course, the Wichita State Shockers, great program. Something to keep your eyes peeled. They just always look.
Folks, Devin thinks Wichita State still has Greg Marshall and Fred VanVleet. I don't know what's gotten into him, but he thinks Wichita State's just the scariest.
Dude, they're spooky, man.
They're not spooky. I mean, they were last year with Colby, but I mean, I think every team was that played Memphis last season.
I'm just telling you, man. I watched them force 20 Memphis turnovers.
Just saying, man. The 2013 Shockers aren't walking through that door. Trust me.
All right. We'll see on February 16th, ESPN. I'll be watching.
They're so gonna lose, aren't they? Memphis.
I don't know.
They're so gonna lose that game. Now that I'm saying this.
Yeah, it's your fault, really.
It's my fault. You can blame me.
I think Memphis will win.
I think they will too.
I just think Wichita State's gonna be a close game.
Okay.
Just based off my viewership over this.
Just based off vibes.
Yeah, vibes, viewer. Yeah.
All right.
When I see the vibes, but yeah, I think that's what I got there. Landon, any more thoughts?
I got nothing, man. That's it for me.
I think my brain is all out. I think I said everything I can say about the Memphis Tigers.
Yeah, I mean Memphis 20-4, good team. This is great. I love that Memphis is good at basketball.
It's great.
Makes life better around here.
It truly does. But I think that's gonna do us for today. So, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.